I want to tell you a story about my first day in IT at East Grand School. I can remember this like it's yesterday. And I'm going down, I'm with the maintenance person, Greg, and we're going down to where his office is. Now, when you think of office, don't think office. In education, I think it's a hard, fast rule that when your building starts to get tighter and you run out of room, that you take closets and you turn them into offices. I'm pretty sure that's a hard, fast rule in education. So we're going down to this little maintenance closet, and we go in there, and there's a server sitting on the desk, and that was where my space was supposed to be. I mean, this is, it's a pretty big tower sitting on top of this desk, and I'm supposed to sit right next to it. This is back in the days of Windows NT. I can't remember. Was it an NT3? I mean, it was probably NT3. And so that's where I was to work, in this little space. Like we could reach over and touch each other. Eventually, they did give me a larger office. But the funny thing was that Greg, and if you know Greg, then when people get excited, their voice kind of like raises and pitches. They're telling their story. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm talking about? So as he's telling me, he says, "Oh, this server," he says, "this is," and he's giving me some information about it. And he says, his voice starts going up. He says, "But every once in a while, you're going to come in and it's not going to work, and you're going to wonder why, and you're not going to know." And his voice just keeps going up. And he's telling me that every once in a while, this server just basically shuts off. It locks up. And he said that the reason is because the clip broke over the CPU that holds the fan on. And so rather than replacing the clip, what they were doing was they were reaching into a drawer and getting an elastic band and putting it around the little clips that's on the motherboard to hold the fan onto the CPU, and that rubber band dries out, and then that fan falls off. Oh, I was laughing because it's like, how much could that clip possibly cost? So the first thing I did was I found a replacement part and ordered it. It was $16, but for $16, in those days, what you were doing on the computer, on your network, some of it was a little bit more frivolous. Just having access to the internet wasn't like the internet was a staple, because if you got as long as you get to your email at some point in the day, you're probably fine. There's not enough people communicating via email that it was a real big deal. But the fact that you're going to let your network go offline because of a rubber band that dried out in the server, that is where it's hilarious. And that it only cost $16. And that was my first repair in IT and education.